Hey guys, my name is Chris. What we're going to go over is a 7M GTE T56 Magnum swap that I'm doing in my 1990 Toyota Supra. Um, there's not a lot of information out there about this particular swap. The T56 is a popular swap with the 2JZ guys, but not enough 7M guys are making enough horsepower to warrant needing a T56. Some guys are, and they're running a TH400 or something else. The I've broken a couple R154s, so that's why I am going this route. As far as alternate solutions, you can go with the PGS gear set. I don't have any personal experience with PGS. However, once I drove a different vehicle with a modern manual transmission in it, it kind of made up my mind with the ease of shifting versus shifting the R154. And the videos that I watched with the PGS gear sets, it's still a clunky transmission. It still has that same throw that, like, for a truck. So being able to upshift, downshift with zero pause or having to finesse into gear is why I really wanted to go with the T56. It wasn't so much the extra gear at all. So that's where I'm at. T56 Magnum. So I'm going to go over, this is just going to be the introduction of getting started. I'm well on my way, but this is going to go over all the parts needed and where I got those parts, and we'll go from there. All right, first we have the transmission itself. This I bought through Grannis Racing. He has a couple different versions available. This is a close ratio GR700. I don't know the difference between the models. That's somebody else's, but this is what I went with. I don't plan on making an excess of 1,500 horsepower, so we're good there. The other parts that came from Grannis, the transmission can be bought almost anywhere, but Grannis's price is just as good, if not better, than anywhere else, and he also supports the MK3 Supra platform, so why not stay there? So the first thing is going to be the cross member for the T56 MK3 chassis. We got a new mount. We have upgraded studs. We have a shifter. We have a pilot bearing. We have a shifter knob. We have the pigtails for the reverse lockout solenoid, the VSS, and reverse lights for the transmission. We have an aluminum one-piece drive shaft and a GPS to mechanical adapter for the OE speedometer. I wanted to keep the OE speedometer just because I have all the OE stuff minus the steering wheel, and I just wanted to be able to use my OE speedometer, so that'll take care of that for me. So all of that came from Grannis. what's needed for the conversion itself is a 7M automatic bell housing. And that's to suit the adapter plate that I had made. There's nothing available for this. There's no QuickTime bell housing. There's no other adapter plates. There are a handful of guys with a 7M T56 swap done, but those guys either have something that was made by somebody and it's long forgotten. Like that's just how it is. So anyway, the adapter plate Vincent Anthony had made for me. This is the first one of its kind. He has one, and they reverse engineered his and made this, and this is the first one. So it's good. The run out on it bolted up was 4 thousandths, so it's within spec. I don't need offset dowels for this, which that's my particular instance. That's not going to be everybody's, but you know, it was 2 thousandths on his mock-up block that he had, and it was 4 on mine, so that's okay. So back to the bell housing. You need the automatic bell housing. You need an adapter plate. Of note, which we just found out, this is an R154 bell housing, and the through bolts are 8 millimeters different. So that bolt there versus in that position. So what was happening is I was using this stock. This is a stock R154 bolt. It is an M10 by 1.25, 60 millimeters in length. This through hole right here is 50 millimeters. The through hole on the automatic bell housing is like 41.8, so we'll just round up and say it's 42. So I bought, you're going to need a 50 millimeter bolt. Ideally, 52 millimeters would give you 2 millimeters extra engagement, but you would have to grind down a bolt for that. So I'm using 50 millimeter bolts. So M10 by 1.25 by 50, and I'm using a flange bolt, just a stainless flange bolt. So those are definitely needed. And it's all 4 of them. It's the whole way around. Every bolt hole is different. So the R154 is definitely a deeper hole there. So the automatic bell housing, the adapter plate, all the extra stuff that needs to go with the T56 Magnum. And then that leads you to the only thing needed is a clutch. And prior to this, I was running the Drift Motion Super Single Twin Disc clutch, which is essentially a rebranded Clutchmaster 850 series. Here's my flywheel. I'm using ARP flywheel bolts. This is the twin disc from Drift Motion. I had sent back my original R154 setup, and I had them rebuild the clutch and swap it over to T56 plates. And then, of course, I needed another throwout bearing. And it's the same. I do believe this is also a rebranded Clutchmaster, just from Drift Motion. So that's what was needed there. And that is pretty much everything that's going to get you a transmission, a T56, into your MK3 with a 7M. I don't think I've missed anything. I have all the parts. I already made a video on indexing the adapter plate. It's just the process of bolting everything up and then measuring the run out of this because Tremec calls for a 5,000th tolerance on that. So that's what that's about. And I just have a quick video of how I have it set up and measuring it. And I measured it a few times, but I want to post this video first just so it makes sense. So if you guys watch this and you learned anything, great. I'm just trying to help the next guy just for the lack of information about this particular swap. This is Snow White and the 7-horse. It's a built 7M. I made 708 at the tire on a Mustang roller. I'll just give you the quick rundown on this guy real quick. Line board, ARP mains, Eagle rods, Wiseco pistons, BC 264s, and all the supporting valve train hardware is BC. I'm running Sound Performance IGN 1A coil bracket with IGN 1A coils. ID 1700X injectors. SXE 366 and ECU Master Standalone. So I got about 8,000 miles out of the last transmission before it grenaded third gear. So hopefully this transmission swap helps me out.